Welcome to leg 3 of my Balkans road trip. We're going to head into Croatia this time. One bad day followed by a super day. But before leaving Slovenia, there was one more stop to make. The small village of Stanjel, recommended to me by my hosts in Goce. It's on the karst plateau overlooking the Vipava Valley. Because of its position up on a hill, it was inhabited in prehistoric times. Remains of a Roman fortress have been preserved, and houses were built on the terraces during the Middle Ages. It was walled in the 15th century and fortified in the 17th century to protect against Turkish raids. It really developed during the 16th and 17th centuries, though. Remember in the last video when I was talking about the Socha River and the Isonza front? Well, during World War I, Stanjel became an important military base during the battles of Isonzo. Between July and August of 1915, there was a series of hand-to-hand fights on the karst plateau, with heavy casualties on both sides during the Second Battle of the Isonzo. Stanjel Castle was used as a military hospital, and due to the number of injured, a field hospital was also set up on the edge of the village. When Italian forces made advances in 1917, most of the villagers had fled. When they returned the following year, most of their homesteads, as well as vineyards, orchards, and fields, were demolished or ravaged. It was used as a base by German troops during World War II, so it was heavily bombed by Allies. It's a very small village, and the main attraction here is the Ferrari Gardens, built by Dr. Enrico Ferrari in between World Wars I and II. He wanted to have a country villa for himself / sanatorium for his lung patients. The gardens were designed by Max Fabiani, the former mayor of Stanjel and one of the most prominent urban planners of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy. Of course, when I was there, being off-season, I was basically the only person walking around other than some construction workers. It had stunning views that pictures and videos just don't do justice. Look at that. That's all vineyards. Looks like crap in my camera, but it's 700 times more beautiful in person. You can see a church way out there. And look, I love how there's snow up there. So beautiful. Everything is dead. No pass. Okay. Now look here. This will give you the history about the water supply system. Here's a map of the gardens. Wow. So the couple that owned the hotel that I stayed at, they told me that this place is super popular for weddings in the warmer months, and people are just like lined up one wedding party after another waiting to get married. Almost like they described it like a Vegas chapel, and you book it in advance, but they just line everybody up like one wedding back to back. I guess it's probably more for the scenery and the pictures than having like a leisurely private wedding. But yeah, they said it's just like a really popular place, and I can see why. I just went down the stairs from the gazebo. I don't know what's in there, but it looks scary. I'm not doing that. So you can go down these stairs to some orchards. I'm not gonna go too far down, but look at that. I can't get over this view. I wish the camera would like, it just looks like crap when I zoom in, but it's so pretty. I love Slovenia. Go up by the church. There's this little courtyard. Probably a wine tasting back there. This looks empty. There's an old lace curtain in there. This is like a weird dungeon. Let's see what's up here. Just rubbish. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's called the Fabian Way. Can also go that way. After exploring Stanjel, I headed to my first stop in Croatia, Rijeka. I think that's how it's pronounced. This was the start of my bad day. Road tripping is not all flowers and kittens. As fun as it is to see all the new sights and meet people and experience new cultures and food, road tripping can also be very stressful and tiring, especially when you're on your own. My tire light went on even though it wasn't that cold out, so I was worried it had been punctured by something. I only knew how many PSI the tires needed, but all the air machines at the gas stations were in bars, so that was a bit of a stress. Then when I got into Rijeka, there was traffic and it was hectic, snaking my way on all the curving roads, trying to pay attention to my map and other cars to get to the street my Airbnb was on. And remember in my Balkans basics how I said I only wanted places with designated parking? Well, this was my one and only place I stayed at that had street parking. I had to park a street above the street my apartment was on. The parking was so tight. A million cars everywhere, and basically all of them were scratched and dinged up. I was so stressed about my car getting scratched if I left it up there. I was tired from driving and starved at that point, and I was nearly in tears. I finally realized I was 2 streets above instead of 1, and when I got on the right street, the parking was a little easier. Then I had the task of making multiple trips to carry my bags and my 50-pound suitcase down a bunch of stairs and back up a bunch of steep stairs to get into the apartment. By the time I reached the top with my suitcase, I was shaking and felt like I was going to throw up and pass out. It was almost dark out, the weather had gotten worse, and I didn't have the energy to go to the store. I had almost no food with me, so dinner that night was a cup of chicken broth and a beer. The next day, the weather was so blustery and rainy, and I was so tired that I stayed inside all day. I didn't even explore Rijeka, and honestly, I didn't care. Road tripping by yourself requires a lot of energy, and it's tiring because you have to be on alert the whole time. You have to pay attention to a bunch of things all at once, so you do have to give yourself down days sometimes. I left Rijeka after 2 nights and headed to my next stop, Zadar. This was a much better drive. You can take the toll road down to Zadar, but I wanted to drive along the coast, and I am so glad I did. Look how cute this little town is. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going. I'm just gonna go this way. It's really cute. Wow, look at that church. Zadar. Just follow the sign. Boats right there. So you got the harbor. I'm at a stop sign right now, so as you can see, you're driving right along the water. This is an awful of you with the crosswalk sign, but it really is beautiful to see the water like this whole route. All the boats are really bouncing up and down. Can't probably tell in my video, but they are. So the road snakes along there, but found a place to pull over so you can see. Look, there's like a castle back there. There is gas stations on the route, so you don't have to worry about that. But look at that. Oh, I love the rain clouds. We just had a great lightning bolt out here, and I'm really hoping I can capture another one. I don't want to get closer to the edge. I know I have a lot of land, but it kind of makes me nervous. Anyways, there's my little meet car. Shit, it's windy out. So far I'm handling the drive okay. Sometimes when I pull over and look at the view, then when I start driving again, I think I'm like aware of how high up I am, so like I start driving really slow and nervous, but then when I get back in the swing of things, I'm driving fine. It's actually not that bad of a drive. I don't know why, but these why does this barren hills make me think of like Jason and the Argonauts or something. I guess this is probably an island, just like super barren. There's literally nothing on it that I can see. In case you're wondering what the other side that you've been driving along, there's the coast. This whole drive, this side has all been like rocky hillside. Part is just to give you an example. The roads are a lot more windy here, so there's more like hairpins and things, and then you can see up there. But it's actually not bad. The roads are really nice and wide on this route, and so far people have been pretty good about staying in their lane. I've only had maybe like a handful of people drive over the line, like from oncoming traffic, but other than that, it's I don't know. I feel like this is a really pretty drive and very doable. It looks shallow in the video, but it's quite steep. So you come around here, and by the way, there's a ton of places to pull over and get pictures, or if somebody's tailgating you, to get out of their way. The farther south you go, the way less cars there are, so I haven't had like anybody tailgating me this whole time. There's the Jason and the Argonauts Island. Yeah, it's just like a cliff that goes down. There's our big rocky side. There's my little car. And there we go. Oh my gosh, okay, this man, I can't, gosh dang it. He's had, this really old shepherd, or he looked really old, I don't know. His goats just all spilled out from the rock side onto the road, and I like quickly braked, and he like had his like shepherd cane, and the goats kind of stumbled back up onto the hillside, and he just like waved me on, and I wish I had gotten that on film. It was funny, but yeah, those are the kinds of things you can see on this drive. What in the heck this is? There's like barbed wire and everything, and then you randomly have this graveyard with like new tombstones on it. This is really weird. These buildings are all abandoned. What was this, like some military thing? This is weird. And then this is common on this route. I've seen a lot of these. You have these like these are bus stops, like just bus stops sitting here. I haven't seen one bus yet though, so yeah. Okay, so there's a mobile home park up ahead. I don't know about that. I saw one weird RV thing. Here's like an abandoned house. I'm not sure what's going on down in this town. Yes, the roads were winding, but they were kind of fun. The views were spectacular, and I was proud of myself for spending 4 hours snaking up and down all the roads with sheer drop-offs on the side, and I loved how quiet the roads were. Even though I was already a week into my trip, this felt like my first true road trip day because I covered quite a bit of ground, and it felt great cruising around in my little metal cocoon, listening to talk, seeing new sights, and having an almost open road to myself. I loved it. I got stopped at a police checkpoint in some small town. They checked my passport, license, and car papers. They pulled a laptop from the trunk, I guess to run my information. Then they let me go. I think they were just having a slow day and looking for something to do since the roads were so empty. I got settled in for the evening in my apartment in Zadar and even had the chance to go to the store and get delicious cabbage and rosehip jam. Next time, we're going to check out the beautiful town of Zadar and head into Bosnia, which was the greatest gem of my trip. So make sure you hit subscribe and the notification bell because you won't want to miss that. See you next time.